You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Marcus Aurelius. Manifesting is not sitting still and hoping for a miracle. It is building the inner conditions and the outer actions that make opportunities, people, money, and projects move toward you. Stoicism gives you a practical framework for that. It trains you to put attention on what you can control, reduce noise that steals your energy, increase discipline without burning out, and keep your inner strength stable when life gets loud. When your inner world is calm and ordered, your decisions get cleaner. When your decisions get cleaner, your actions land at the right time, with the right tone, and with the right persistence. And when you act like that, results arrive faster, not because the universe is rewarding you, but because you are operating with clarity instead of panic. In this video, you will get 12 Stoic rules that are highly usable in modern life, ambitious, and tired of feeling scattered. These rules are designed for real situations, work pressure, financial goals, career growth, and relationships that test your patience. If you hustle hard yet feel stuck, this will show you where your real leverage is. Think of this as a toolkit you can use today, then repeat tomorrow until your life starts responding to you in a measurable way. Principle 1. Anchor yourself in adversity with a specific philosophy of life. You cannot manifest anything cleanly when your mind is in panic. When you are flooded, you make sloppy choices, you send desperate messages, you chase the wrong people, you spend money to numb stress, and then you call it bad luck. Stoicism starts earlier than that. Before strategy, before hustle, you build an anchor, a single idea you return to when life tries to throw you off balance. Vice Admiral James B. Stockdale understood this in the harshest environment imaginable. Shot down over North Vietnam, he became the senior naval prisoner of war in Hanoi. In his lectures later collected by the U.S. Naval Academy's Ethics Center, he describes stepping into what he calls the world of Epictetus, using Stoic discipline as a foundation to endure captivity, protect his dignity, and lead others through chaos. That is the point of an anchor. It does not erase the storm. It keeps you from becoming the storm. Source: U.S. Naval Academy, Stockdale Center for Ethical Leadership. Stockdale on Stoicism I, the Stoic Warrior's Triad. Your anchor has to be short enough to fit in one breath. Not a paragraph, not a motivational speech. One sentence you can repeat when your nervous system spikes. Here is a clean example. I control my choices. I do not control the wind. Say it in the morning. Say it before a hard meeting. Say it when you are about to spiral at night. The words are not magic. The repetition is training. You are teaching your brain to switch from reaction to response. Now make it practical with a 5-minute drill. Take a page and write 3 things that are making you unstable right now. Keep it concrete, not my life. Something specific. A project approval, a debt number, a relationship tension. Then draw a line down the page. On the left, write I can control. On the right, write I cannot control. Place each worry where it belongs. Be brutally honest. You cannot control other people's moods. You cannot control whether someone replies today. You cannot control the final decision in a room you are not in. Then do the key move. Act immediately on one item from the left column. One action. Small is fine, but it must be real. If money is tight, the action might be opening your banking app and setting a weekly spending cap. If your health feels messy, it might be scheduling one workout and preparing one meal. If your career feels stuck, it might be sending one thoughtful message to a mentor or rewriting one section of your portfolio. Here is a modern example that hits hard for ambitious people. You are waiting for a project to be approved. The decision is not yours. If you sit there refreshing your inbox, your mind will invent horror stories, and your energy will leak into anxiety. Your anchor brings you back. You control the quality of your pitch deck. You control how clearly you define the outcome. You control one polite follow-up. You control building a plan B that protects your timeline. That is Stoic manifestation in real life. You stop begging reality to cooperate, and you start behaving like a person who can handle whatever reality chooses. Use it during micro-triggers too. Traffic, a rude comment, a delayed payment, a family call you dread. Each time you return to the anchor, you reclaim your attention. Attention is your currency, and it is spendable. When you live this way, your manifesting becomes less mystical and more inevitable. Calm makes you sharper. Sharp choices create momentum. Momentum attracts resources, and it all begins with one anchor you refuse to drop. Principle 2. Reduce drama. Increase system. Manifest through small, repeated habits. This is where most ambitious people often fail silently. They don't fail because they lack talent. They fail because they run on drama. A burst of motivation, a late-night promise, a sprint for 3 days, then a crash that wipes out the week. That cycle feels productive, but it is just emotional gambling. Stoicism teaches the opposite. Long games, small moves, clean repetition. Consistency beats intensity because consistency keeps you present even when you don't feel like it. That is how you actually manifest results, not by wanting harder, but by showing up on schedule. Tim Ferriss has pointed many people towards Stoic practice because it is practical, not mystical. In his curated Stoicism resources, he collects tools, books, and exercises that translate philosophy into daily decisions for work and life. Source: Tim Ferriss, Stoicism, Resources and Recommendations. You do not need to become a scholar. You need a system that protects you from mood swings, distractions, and self-sabotage. Here is the rule in one line. Reduce the drama. Increase the system. Your system should be minimal, so it survives busy days. 2 anchors are enough. One morning habit and one evening habit. Think of them as rails. When your energy is high, you still stay on the rails. When your energy is low, the rails carry you anyway. Morning, 7 minutes. Open a notebook or a note app. Write 3 priorities for today. Not 10. 3. They must be actions, not vague wishes. Finish the proposal draft. Call 2 clients. Work out for 20 minutes. Then write 1 thing you will not do today, on purpose, so your attention doesn't get sliced into pieces. I will not check social media before lunch. Or, I will not join another meeting that has no agenda. This is not about being strict. It is about protecting your focus like it is money. Because it is. Evening, 7 minutes. You do not need a long journal. You need a scorecard. Ask yourself 3 questions. First, did I do the important thing, or did I only do urgent noise? Second, where did I react emotionally and lose control of my tone, time, or spending? Third, what is one adjustment for tomorrow? 1. Not a full reinvention, a small correction you can actually execute. This is Stoic training. Review, refine, repeat. Keep the bar low but non-negotiable. On chaotic days, do the smallest version. 5 minutes learning, 1 message sent, 1 expense logged. The chain stays still unbroken. Now apply it to a real goal, like increasing your income. Most people approach money with either panic or fantasy. Stoic systems avoid both. Every day, block 60 minutes, 30 minutes to build a sellable skill. Writing, editing, design, coding, sales, public speaking, whatever fits your direction. 30 minutes to sell in a small, concrete way. Send 1 email proposal. Make 1 outreach call. Post 1 useful piece of content. Follow up with one warm lead. You are not waiting for a breakthrough. You are manufacturing exposure and competence. Notice what happens after 2 weeks. Your confidence rises, not because you told yourself affirmations, but because you collected evidence. You are becoming the kind of person who keeps promises to yourself. That identity shift is the hidden engine behind manifestation. Opportunities trust people who are stable. Clients trust people who are consistent. Teams trust people who are reliable. Your system is how you earn that trust, starting with your own. If you want a final test, ask this: would my progress survive a bad mood? If the answer is no, you don't need more motivation. You need a simpler system. Principle 3. The control rule. Put your energy only where you have power. Principle 3 is the fastest way to stop anxiety from eating your day. Because anxiety is rarely about what is happening. It is about what you think might happen and what you wish you could control but cannot. Stoicism cuts through that with one sharp idea. Events are neutral. Your interpretation is what turns them into suffering or strength. The same delay, the same rejection, the same criticism can either destabilize you or train you, depending on how you respond. This rule is not about pretending you do not care. It is about aiming your energy where it actually produces results. Here is how you know you are spending your energy in the wrong place. You complain more than you plan. You replay conversations and guess what people really meant. You scroll and compare and feel smaller. You wait for someone else to change so you can finally move. You obsess over whether you are liked, whether you are respected, whether you are being treated fairly. That is the trap, because all of those things are partially outside your control, and the moment your peace depends on them, you become easy to shake. So do the 60-second reset. Grab a note, open your phone, anything. Write one sentence. I am worried about, and name the worry precisely. Not my future. Be specific. My manager may not approve my proposal. My savings are not growing. My relationship feels unstable. Then ask the question that Stoics would ask without drama. Is this within my control? Do not negotiate with the answer. Do not soften it. Just label it. Now use the 3-circle map. Circle 1 is direct control. What you can do, choose, say, build, practice, or stop today. Circle 2 is indirect influence. Things you can affect through good communication, preparation, consistency, and relationships, but you do not command the outcome. Circle 3 is no control. Other people's decisions, market moves, timing, and random events. Most people live with their attention in Circle 3, then wonder why they feel powerless. You cannot manifest from there because your energy leaks into worry. The goal is to pull your attention back to Circle 1 and make Circle 2 your strategy, while Circle 3 stays your acceptance. Take money as a clean example. You cannot control the market price, inflation, or whether the economy slows down next quarter. If you try to control it emotionally, you will either panic, sell, freeze, or chase shortcuts. But you can control your savings rate. You can control whether you track spending weekly. You can control whether you build a skill that increases your earning power. You can control whether you keep a small emergency buffer so you stop living in fear. That is Circle 1. Circle 2 might be negotiating a raise, pitching a freelance client, asking for more responsibility, building a network. Those influence income, but they do not guarantee it. Circle 3 is hoping the world stays stable. That is not a plan. Now take work, because this is where young, ambitious people burn out. You cannot control whether your boss likes you. You cannot control office politics. You cannot control how someone interprets your tone. If you obsess there, you will either become needy, defensive, or silent. But you can control the quality of your output. You can control your response speed. You can control how clearly you communicate. You can control whether you bring solutions instead of complaints. You can control whether you keep your promises. Those are the things that build reputation over time, even in imperfect environments. Here is a simple 10-minute exercise to make this rule real. Choose the biggest problem you are facing this week. Write it at the top of a page. Then split the page into the 3 circles. Under direct control, list only actions you can take today or tomorrow. Under influence, list moves that improve the odds. Under no control, write the pieces you must accept. Then pick one action from direct control and do it today, immediately after you finish this. It could be drafting the email, making the call, setting the budget rule, or practicing the skill for 20 minutes. The content matters less than the action, because action in Circle 1 restores your sense of power. What you are doing here is building a stoic reflex. The moment your mind starts spinning, you do not argue with it, you redirect it. You do not ask, "How do I feel?" You ask, "What can I do?" You stop feeding the imagination of fear, and you start feeding the reality of progress. The strongest line to remember is this: freedom begins the moment you stop demanding control over what was never yours. Principle 4. Sharp intention, light attachment. Set the target, release the grip. You set a deadline, you cling to one exact outcome, and then you start living like a person on trial. If it happens by this month, you win. If it does not, you fail. That mindset creates desperation, and desperation makes you act in ways that quietly push opportunities away. You over-explain, you chase, you accept bad deals, you settle for the wrong person, you rush decisions just to feel relief. Stoicism offers a cleaner approach. You aim with precision, but you hold the outcome with a relaxed hand. Here is the Stoic lens behind it. You do your part fully. You control your effort, your preparation, your character, your consistency. The rest belongs to the natural order of things. Timing, other people's choices, the unpredictable turns of reality. That is not a passive excuse. It is a mental boundary that keeps you from breaking yourself, trying to control life. Think of this rule as a 2-level framework. Level 1 is direction. You choose where you are going. Level 2 is route. You do not force the road to look exactly like the picture in your head. Most suffering comes from confusing those two. People are not destroyed by wanting something. They are destroyed by demanding one specific path, one specific timeline, one specific person, one specific company, as if the universe signed a contract. So, how do you set goals without turning them into a cage? Use this simple structure. I want X because it expresses value V. I commit to doing Y every day. I accept that X may arrive through a different path. The words matter because they train flexibility while keeping commitment strong. You are not watering down ambition. You are removing the panic that poisons it. Let's make it concrete with career. Say you want a promotion. The desperate version of you says, "If I am not promoted in 3 months, I am worthless." Then you start working like you are begging for approval. You stay late to be seen. You take every task to prove yourself. You hide mistakes. You resent coworkers. You become tense, and people feel it. The Stoic version is different. You still want the promotion, but you lock into what you can control. You commit to learning a specific skill that makes you more valuable. You volunteer for one hard project that builds leverage. You optimize your performance and communication so your work speaks clearly. But you do not trap your identity inside one title at one company. If the door does not open there, your improved skill and proof of competence opens another door somewhere else. You keep the intention sharp and the grip light. Now apply it to relationships. Say you want love. The desperate version of you attaches to the first person who gives attention, not because they fit your values, but because you fear being alone. Then you compromise your standards, ignore red flags, and try to manage the relationship into stability. That is attachment. It feels like love, but it is really fear wearing perfume. The Stoic version keeps direction clear. You live by your values. You communicate honestly. You stay open to meeting people. You create opportunities to connect. But you do not cling to one person just to avoid silence. You accept that what you want may arrive through a different face, a different place, a different season. That acceptance makes you calmer, and calm makes you more attractive because you are not trying to steal security from someone else. Here is the exercise that rewires your brain for flexibility. Write down your main goal. Then write 3 alternative paths that could lead to the same outcome. If the goal is higher income, path 1 might be a raise, path 2 might be freelancing, path 3 might be switching roles or industries. If the goal is a healthier relationship life, path 1 might be therapy or coaching, path 2 might be expanding your social circle, path 3 might be changing boundaries and communication patterns. The point is not to spread yourself thin. The point is to train your mind to stop treating one door as the only door. When your mind stops panicking about one door, you notice the other doors that were always there. This is what people mean when they say manifestation becomes easier. It is not that life suddenly becomes predictable. It is that you stop choking the process with attachment. You stay committed, but not desperate. When you release the grip, you open more doors. Principle 5. The obstacle is the way. Every block is a test that upgrades you. Rule 5 flips the emotional story you tell yourself when life pushes back. Most people treat obstacles like proof that they are cursed, not chosen. They see a rejection and think, "This is the universe telling me no." They hit a setback and assume they are not meant for it. Stoicism trains a harder, calmer thought. Resistance is not a sign to quit. It is the weight that builds the muscle. If you want success, wealth, influence, or a better life, you need capacity. And you do not get capacity through comfort. You get it through pressure that forces you to become smarter, cleaner, and more disciplined. No challenge, no container. No big result can stay in your life for long. The key move is to stop reading obstacles as personal attacks and start reading them as information. An obstacle is data about what needs to improve. That is why Stoics could stay steady in chaos. They did not ask, "Why me?" They asked, "What now?" To make this practical, use the 3-layer method. Every obstacle can be read on 3 levels. Level 1 is skill. Level 2 is system. Level 3 is character. Skill is the most obvious. When you are blocked, ask, "What skill am I missing?" Maybe you are not persuasive enough. Maybe your writing is unclear. Maybe your product is not strong. Maybe you cannot manage time. Maybe you avoid difficult conversations. Skill gaps create friction, and friction is not fate, it is feedback. System is the hidden one. You can have talent and still be stuck because your process is broken. Your routine is inconsistent. You do not track numbers. You jump between tasks. You do not follow up. You do not document. You do not build a pipeline. Many people think they have a motivation problem when they actually have a system problem. A weak system makes everything feel heavier than it should. Character is the deepest level. Sometimes the obstacle is not outside. It is your habit, your ego, your impatience, your need to be liked, your fear of being judged, your tendency to procrastinate until panic forces you to move. Character issues do not show up when life is easy. They show up when pressure hits. That is why obstacles are not just problems, they are mirrors. Now let's apply this to business. because it is a perfect arena for Stoic thinking. Imagine you are running ads and they are not producing sales. The emotional reaction is to panic. You start changing everything at once, blaming the platform, blaming the economy, blaming the audience. But the Stoic approach treats this as a lab. No drama, just diagnosis. Skill layer. Maybe your copy is weak. Maybe your offer is not clear. Maybe your positioning does not differentiate. Maybe you do not understand your customer's real pain. System layer. Maybe you are not testing consistently. Maybe your tracking is wrong. Maybe you have no clear funnel. Maybe you are sending traffic to a confusing page. Character layer. Maybe you are avoiding discomfort, like talking to customers directly, because you are afraid of hearing the truth. Maybe you want instant results, and you quit too early. When you read the obstacle this way, you stop wasting energy on complaint. You start upgrading. And that upgrade becomes the real manifestation. You become the kind of person who can produce results on demand, not by luck. Now take personal finance. You keep running out of money. It is easy to call it bad luck, low salary, high prices. Sometimes those are real, but if it keeps repeating, there is almost always a system issue. You are not tracking spending. You do not have limits. You do not have an automatic savings rule. You spend to soothe emotions. Skill layer. Maybe you do not know how to budget, negotiate, or increase income with a marketable skill. System layer. No weekly review, no spending categories, no planned buffer, no rules that protect you from impulse. Character layer. You avoid looking at numbers because it makes you feel shame, or you chase status to feel worthy, or you tell yourself you deserve it because you are tired. Once you see the layer, you can fix the layer. That is power. Now here is the practice that turns setbacks into momentum. After any failure, do this 3-question review. Keep it short and sharp. First, what is this teaching me? Second, what is one thing I will improve or change? Third, what will I try again within 48 hours? That 48-hour rule matters because it prevents the most dangerous outcome, turning a setback into a pause so long it becomes a new identity. People do not fail because they fall. They fail because they stay down long enough to forget how to stand. Trying again quickly keeps your nervous system trained. It tells your brain, we do not retreat. We adjust. This rule also protects your confidence. Confidence is not a mood. It is evidence. Every time you get blocked and respond with learning instead of bitterness, you collect evidence that you are resilient. And resilience is one of the most valuable assets in success and wealth, because the path will always contain friction. So remember the close of Rule 5. You are not blocked to stop. You are blocked to grow. Principle 6. Emotional discipline. Emotions are signals, not the steering wheel. This is about protecting your future from your current mood, because most people do not destroy their progress in big dramatic ways. They destroy it in small, impulsive moments. One angry reply, one defensive meeting, one late-night purchase, one message sent from insecurity, one decision made to escape discomfort. That is why emotional discipline matters. If your emotions drive, your life swerves. If you learn to hold the wheel, your results become stable. Here is the most common mistake. People fuse their identity with their emotion. I am angry, so I must be right. I feel sad, so my life must be bad. I feel anxious, so something terrible must be coming. That fusion is dangerous because emotions are not facts. They are information. They are your nervous system sending a signal about a perceived threat or a need. If you treat the signal as truth, you will react, not respond. Stoicism gives you a clean technique. Separate the self from the feeling. You do not say, I am angry. You say, I am experiencing anger. That small language shift changes everything. It creates space. In that space, you can choose. Without that space, you are just acting out a feeling. And in modern life, acting out feelings is expensive. It costs relationships, money, reputation, and time. Now, use the 3-beat rule. Recognize, name, choose a response. First, recognize. Ask, where is the tension in my body? This pulls you out of the story and into reality. Maybe your jaw is tight, your chest is heavy, your stomach is hot, your shoulders are up. Do not judge it, just notice it. When you can locate it, the emotion stops being a fog that covers everything. It becomes a sensation you can handle. Second, name it. Do not use vague labels like, I feel bad. Get specific. Is it anger, fear, shame, worry, disappointment, jealousy? Naming is not therapy talk. It is control. When you name an emotion, you reduce its power to hijack you. You stop being confused, and confusion is where impulsive behavior grows. Third, choose your response. Ask one sharp question. What action can I take right now that I will not regret later? Not what feels satisfying in the moment, not what proves a point. What you will respect tomorrow morning. That question forces you to think like the future version of yourself, not the wounded version. Let's put this into real situations. At work, you get harsh feedback. Maybe your manager says it in a rough tone. Your ego spikes. You feel heat. The emotional reaction is to defend yourself, explain, blame the timeline, blame the brief, blame the team. But that reaction costs you. It makes you look fragile and hard to coach. Use the 3 beats. Recognize the tension in your chest. Name it. Anger, embarrassment, fear of being seen as incompetent. Then choose the response you will not regret. You ask for clarity. What exactly needs to change? What does success look like in your eyes? What is the priority? Speed, accuracy, or depth? Then you confirm the next step. Got it. I will revise this part first and send an updated version by tomorrow. That is emotional discipline. You keep your reputation intact and you turn criticism into direction. In relationships, you argue. Someone says something that hits a nerve. The emotional reaction is to attack, to bring up old history, to say the cruel sentence you know will hurt. Stoicism does not tell you to suppress feelings. It tells you not to let feelings drive the car into a wall. So you pause. 10 minutes. You step away, drink water, breathe, let the nervous system settle. Then you come back and state a need, not an accusation. You say what you want, not what you want to destroy. I need respect when we talk. I need you to listen without interrupting. I need a plan for how we handle this next time. That is a response you can respect. It protects love instead of feeding war. Now make this skill measurable, because that is how it becomes real. Do a 7-day practice. Every day, record one moment where you stayed calm instead of impulsive. It can be small. You did not reply immediately to a triggering message. You did not buy something out of stress. You did not raise your voice. You did not gossip. You did not doom scroll when you felt lonely. Write it down in one sentence. You are collecting evidence that you are becoming stronger. This is important because confidence grows from proof, not from hype. Over time, this rule changes your life in a quiet way. People start to trust you because you are steady. You start to trust yourself because you do not sabotage your own goals. You stop apologizing for things you did in heat. Your mind becomes a place you can live in. Remember the close of Rule 6. The person who masters emotion masters destiny. Principle 7. Cut the noise. Drop cheap desires so real desires get power. Most people do not fail because the goal is too hard. They fail because their attention is divided into crumbs. They want everything in small pieces, and then wonder why the big thing never arrives. Stoicism is blunt here. If you want success and wealth, you need concentration. And concentration is impossible when you feed every small urge that shows up. Here is the core idea. Your energy is not infinite. Your focus is not infinite. Every day you wake up with a limited amount of attention, like cash in your wallet. If you spend it on noise, you cannot spend it on building. And the worst part is that noise feels harmless because it comes in tiny doses. A quick scroll, a quick comparison, a quick impulse buy, a quick gossip, a quick new project idea. None of these looks deadly alone. Together, they drain your life. You can tell you are drowning in noise by 3 signs. 1. You work while checking your phone, so your work never becomes deep. 2. You compare constantly, so your self-respect becomes fragile. 3. You start 10 things and finish none, so your confidence never gets proof. Your mind becomes crowded, and crowded minds do not manifest, they react. Stoicism offers a simple principle: less, but deeper. Not less ambition, less distraction, less appetite for cheap stimulation, less chasing other people's paths. When you remove noise, your real desire gets louder, and your effort becomes more powerful. To do this in a practical way, use the 3 no frame. It is not complicated, it is strict in the right places, because your life needs boundaries more than it needs motivation. First, no new projects until the current project produces a result. This one rule alone can change your career. People love starting because starting gives you instant dopamine. It feels like progress without risk. Finishing is where results live, and finishing is where ego gets tested. If you want to manifest outcomes, you become a finisher. You pick one main project and you push it across the line. Second, no spending money to medicate emotions. This is one of the most common leaks for young people, especially under stress. You have a hard day, you buy something to feel control. You feel lonely. You buy something to feel worthy. You feel overwhelmed. You buy something to feel relief. That is not shopping. That is emotional anesthesia, and it creates a double poverty. Poverty in money and poverty in self-respect. Because deep down, you know you are trying to buy a feeling you could build through discipline. Third, no following other people when you are not clear on your own values. This is the most dangerous noise because it looks like ambition. You see someone's lifestyle, someone's business, someone's relationship, and you chase their version of success without asking whether it fits you. That creates a life that looks good on the outside, but feels wrong on the inside. Stoicism protects you from that trap by making values the center. If you do not know what you stand for, you will copy whoever is loudest. Let's ground this with examples. Money example. You are stressed, so you order food again, buy clothes again, upgrade something again. In the moment, it feels like relief, but the next day you feel tighter because the bill is real and the relief is gone. Over time, you teach your brain, when I feel pain, I spend. That becomes a habit loop. Stoic discipline breaks the loop. You learn to sit with the feeling for 10 minutes. You go for a walk. You write the worry down. You breathe. You do anything that builds strength instead of debt. Career example. You take many small side jobs, random gigs, little tasks that pay fast, but none of them builds a core skill. Then, years pass, and you are still trapped at the same income level because your value did not compound. You were busy, but you were not growing. Stoicism would tell you to choose one skill that compounds, then go deep. Writing that sells, editing that produces results, design with a clear niche. Sales, coding, project management, something that makes you more valuable every quarter. You are not allergic to extra work. You are allergic to scattered work. Now do the 30-day noise cut. This is the exercise that makes Rule 7 real. For the next 30 days, choose one main goal. 1, not 5. Then cut 3 major sources of noise. 1 app, 1 habit, and 1 relationship pattern that drains you. 1 app might be social media or any platform that makes you compare and scroll. You do not have to delete it forever. You can remove it for 30 days or restrict it to a small window. 1 habit might be late-night scrolling, impulse spending, binge-watching, or checking notifications the moment you wake up. Replace it with something small that builds you. Reading 10 pages, journaling 5 minutes, or a short workout. 1 relationship pattern might be constant texting with someone who drains you, gossip circles, or saying yes when you mean no. You set a boundary. You reduce exposure. You stop feeding what weakens you. What happens after 30 days is predictable. Your mind gets quieter, your focus gets stronger, your work gets deeper, your confidence rises because you start finishing, your money improves because you stop spending to soothe emotions. Your direction becomes clearer because you stop borrowing identities. And that is the close of Rule 7. When you stop scattering yourself, you start having force. Principle 8. Create value first. Manifest through contribution, not begging. This is the most direct bridge between Stoicism and success or wealth, because it replaces fantasy with leverage. A lot of people want more money, more opportunities, more respect, more clients, more luck. But wanting is not an offering. Wanting is a request. And the world does not reward requests. The world rewards value. Stoicism keeps your ego clean by asking a simple question. What are you contributing? Not what do you think you deserve. Not what you hope will happen. What are you actually bringing into the room? This is the mindset shift. You stop living like life owes you something. You start living like you owe life your best work. That sounds heavy, but it is actually freeing, because the moment you focus on contribution, you have control again. You cannot control whether someone chooses you, but you can control whether you become undeniably useful. From a Stoic point of view, rewards come after ability and contribution, not before, and not in the form you always expect. When you become valuable, people notice. When people notice, opportunities multiply. When opportunities multiply, money follows. When money follows, you have freedom. That is not magic. That is how reality functions. So, here is the practical framework. 3 questions. Ask them every time you feel stuck, every time you want a breakthrough, every time you say, "Nothing is working." First, who do I serve? Be specific. Not everyone, not people. Name a real group, a team, a client type, a niche audience, a department, a market. The more specific you get, the more your value becomes sharp. Second, what pain do I solve? Pain means a real problem someone wants fixed. It can be saving time, saving money, increasing revenue, reducing risk, reducing stress, improving clarity, increasing performance. If you cannot name a pain, you are not offering value. You are offering vibes. Third, what measurable outcome do I create? Stoicism loves clarity. A measurable result forces you to stop lying to yourself. It can be hours saved, errors reduced, deals closed, conversion rate improved, churn lowered, content output increased, response time reduced. When you can measure the outcome, you can improve the outcome. And improvement is how you become rare. Now apply this to career, like wanting a raise. Many people approach a raise emotionally. I work hard. I have been here for a year. I need more money. Those statements might be true, but they are not leverage. A raise is not a charity donation. It is an investment. So speak like someone who understands that. Write 3 value contributions you have made. framed in outcomes. 1. How did you save time for the team? Maybe you built a template, documented a process, automated a report, cleaned up a workflow. 2. How did you increase revenue or output? Maybe you improved conversion, helped a client renew, created content that brought leads, supported sales with better material. 3. How did you reduce risk? Maybe you caught mistakes, prevented a problem, improved quality, reduced customer complaints, created a checklist that stopped errors. Then bring that to your manager with a calm tone. Not begging, not demanding, presenting. Here is what I delivered. Here is the measurable impact. Here is what I can deliver next if we align on compensation. That is Rule 8 inches action. You are not asking for a favor. You are proposing an upgrade in the relationship based on contribution. Now apply it to business, like wanting more sales. Many people push harder on selling without fixing the value. Then they wonder why the market resists them. Stoicism would treat sales as a mirror. If people do not buy, either they do not trust you, they do not understand you, they do not want the outcome, or the friction is too high. So you clarify the offer. Make the promise clear. What problem is solved? For who? In what time frame? With what proof? Then you improve the experience. Make it easier to say yes. Better onboarding. Clearer steps. Faster delivery. Better customer support. Then you reduce barriers. Remove confusion, remove unnecessary steps, remove hidden costs, remove complexity that scares people away. When you do that, selling becomes less force and more flow. Because value pulls, pressure pushes. Now do the 14-day practice to make this rule real. For the next 14 days, create one small visible value every day. Visible means someone can point to it. It exists. It helps. It is not just effort hidden in your head. One day you create a short document that makes a process easier. One day you improve a file, a template, a system. One day you give a useful suggestion in a meeting, not to sound smart, but to solve a problem. One day you connect two people who should meet because you see a real fit. One day you follow up with a client and remove a friction point before they complain. Do this daily, and you will notice two changes. First, you become more confident because you are generating proof. Second, your environment starts responding because value is visible. People remember the person who made their life easier. That is how opportunities find you without you chasing. This is why Rule 8 is so powerful. It keeps you out of victim mindset. It keeps you in creation mode. When you become useful, you become hard to replace. Principle 9. Strategic authenticity. Refuse roles that are not yours. This is about stopping the quiet self-betrayal that ruins your life over time. Because when you are not living as yourself, you do not just feel tired. You start attracting the wrong people, the wrong environments, and the wrong opportunities. You get picked for what you pretend to be, not for what you are. And then you spend years stuck inside a life that does not fit, wondering why success feels empty or why relationships feel unstable. Stoicism treats this as an honor issue. Honor is not popularity. Honor is alignment. It is living by your values, not by other people's expectations. When you trade your values for approval, you might gain temporary comfort, but you lose your center. And without a center, you cannot manifest what you truly want, because you are sending mixed signals to the world. You say you want one thing, but you behave like someone who wants something else. Validation. Here are the signs you are living out of alignment. You say yes when you want to say no. You stay quiet when you need to speak. You act a certain way just to be accepted. You edit your personality to match the room. You tolerate disrespect because you fear conflict. You chase attention because it feels like safety. These are not personality traits, they are survival habits. Stoicism helps you replace survival with choice. To do that, use a two-layer framework, inside and outside. The inside layer is non-negotiable values. These are the rules you will not break, even if it costs you. They define who you are when nobody is watching. They also protect you from being pulled into the wrong life. Examples of values might be honesty, loyalty, excellence, respect, health, freedom, family, faith, growth, creativity. Your list will be personal, but it has to be clear. If you cannot name your non-negotiables, you will negotiate yourself away. The outside layer is expression. Stoicism does not require you to be harsh. You can be kind and still be firm. You can be calm and still be clear. You can be respectful and still say no. The mistake people make is thinking authenticity means emotional dumping or being rude. Strategic authenticity means you express your values in a way that is soft in tone but solid in boundary. Now see how this plays out at work. You get offered a project that does not fit your role, your capacity, or your skill direction. You accept because you want to be liked. You want to look helpful. You want approval. Then you get overloaded. Your core tasks slip. Your quality drops. You become stressed, and stress makes you messy. In the end, you get the worst outcome. You did not protect your time, and you also did not deliver excellence. Your reputation takes a hit. The Stoic move is to be clear early. You do not wait until you are drowning. You say, calmly, what you can and cannot do. You offer a solution. I can take this on if we adjust the deadline. I can do this part, but I cannot own the entire project. If this is a priority, we need to pause something else. That is strategic authenticity. It protects your value and your results. Now look at relationships. You try to be cool so someone will like you. You pretend you do not care. You pretend you are okay with things you are not okay with. You laugh off disrespect. You hide needs because you fear being seen as needy. But the cost is heavy. You slowly disappear inside the relationship. And when you are not yourself, you cannot build real intimacy. You can only build performance. That is why those relationships feel unstable. They are built on a role, not a person. Stoic authenticity in love looks like this. You show up as yourself without forcing anything. You communicate needs without attacking. You set boundaries without drama. You do not chase someone who is unsure about you. You do not stay where your values are not respected. That does not make you cold. It makes you clean. Now here is the practical exercise. Write 3 refusal sentences you can use when needed. They should be polite, direct, and final. Not aggressive, not apologetic, just clear. First sentence for work. I can't take this on right now without dropping a current priority. Second sentence for social pressure. I'm going to pass, but I appreciate the invite. Third sentence for boundaries. That doesn't work for me, so I'm not going to do it. You will notice something when you start using sentences like these. At first, your nervous system will shake because you are not used to choosing yourself. But then your life starts to clean up. People who respect you stay. People who used you leave. Opportunities that match you come closer. Opportunities that require you to betray yourself fade away. And that is the point. You are not here to be liked by everyone. You are here to become solid enough to live your life on purpose. When you stand upright, you attract what is upright. Principle 10. Stoic gratitude. See reality clearly. Choose a foundation. Move forward. It is about changing your internal posture from lack to enough, so you can act with stability instead of desperation. When your mind is stuck in lack, you rush, you chase shortcuts, you compare, you make fear-based decisions. Stoic gratitude corrects that. It does not deny difficulty. It trains you to notice what is still working, so you have a stable platform to build from. First, we need the distinction: real gratitude versus self-soothing. Real gratitude says, I see the hard part, and I also see what is still functioning. It is honest. It includes pain. It includes responsibility. It does not lie. Self-soothing says, everything is fine when it is not. It is a way to avoid the uncomfortable truth, and avoidance always comes with a cost. Stoic gratitude is practical. It gives you 3 anchors, 3 foundations you can return to when life feels unstable. The first foundation is the body. I still have health. I still have breath. This is not a cute line. It is the root. If you are alive and functional, you still have the ability to change your situation. When people lose health, they understand how precious ordinary strength is. Stoic practice is remembering that before you are forced to. When your mind spirals, return to the body. Feel your breath. Feel your feet on the floor. Remind yourself, I am here. I can act. The second foundation is skill. What base do I already have? Maybe you can write. Maybe you can solve problems. Maybe you are disciplined when you decide. Maybe you have learned from past failures. Skill is wealth because it cannot be taken easily. Money can disappear. Skill returns money. When you feel behind, gratitude for skill is not pride. It is clarity. It tells you, I am not starting from zero. The third foundation is people. Who do I have to walk with? Maybe it is one friend, one mentor, one colleague, one family member. The Stoic point is not to become dependent. The Stoic point is to remember reality. You are not alone in the world. Support exists. And when you remember that, your mind stops acting like everything is a fight to the death. Now let's make this rule modern with examples. Financial example: you are not rich yet. You want more income. It is easy to feel ashamed, especially if you see other people online flexing. Stoic gratitude would not tell you to clap for being broke. It would tell you to respect the assets you are building that will actually create wealth. For example, discipline. If you recently started tracking expenses, saving consistently, or following a simple budget rule, that is a real asset. Discipline is not a mood. It is a tool. It will outlast the current paycheck. So you can say, honestly, I am not where I want to be yet, and I am grateful I am becoming disciplined, because discipline is what builds wealth. That gratitude steadies you. Then you act. Work example. You are not promoted yet. You might feel overlooked. Stoic gratitude does not deny the frustration. It looks for the leverage. If you are being given hard work, difficult projects, complex tasks, that is not a punishment. That is a lever. Hard work is where skill compounds. Easy work keeps you comfortable but invisible. So you can say, I am not at the title I want yet, and I am grateful I am trusted with hard tasks, because hard tasks are how I grow. Then you use the task to sharpen output, reputation, and future options. Here is the practice that makes this rule real and prevents it from becoming positive talk. Every night, write 3 sentences. Each sentence must include an action you will take tomorrow. This is critical. Gratitude without action creates nothing. It becomes comfort. Stoic gratitude is fuel. Sentence 1 is body. I am grateful for my health and breath, so tomorrow I will take care of it by doing 1 walk, 1 workout, or eating 1 clean meal. Sentence 2 is skill. I am grateful for the skills I have, so tomorrow I will strengthen 1 skill for 30 minutes. Sentence 3 is people. I am grateful for support, so tomorrow I will give value, Send a thank you or ask for feedback with humility. That is it. 3 sentences, 3 actions. Small, repeatable, real. Now the close of Rule 10 is simple. Gratitude does not stop you. It pushes you forward. Principle 11. Rest as strategy. Create space so wisdom can appear. Modern culture rewards looking busy. But busy can be a mask for fear. Fear of stopping. Fear of silence. Fear of realizing you are moving in the wrong direction. Stoicism is not impressed by motion. It cares about right action. And right action is impossible when your mind is fried. The goal of this rule is to end fake busyness and avoid the most expensive mistake: making decisions while tired. Fatigue makes you reactive. It makes you short-tempered. It makes you careless. It makes you choose comfort over value. That is why rest is not laziness. Rest is part of discipline. Calm is a form of strength. You can tell you need rest by simple signs. You get irritated easily. You make small, stupid mistakes. You cannot focus. You sleep but wake up still tired. You reread the same sentence 5 times. You keep scrolling because your brain cannot do real work. Those signs are not personality flaws. They are signals. Now use the 3-level rest framework: body, mind, and goal. First, rest the body. Sleep enough. Walk. Eat clean. Drink water. This sounds basic, but it is the base layer. If your body is in chaos, your mind will invent problems. A short walk can change your mood more than a long speech. Second, rest the mind. Turn off notifications. Reduce information junk. Stop feeding your brain constant stimulation. Your attention is not designed for non-stop alerts. If you want wisdom, you need silence. Silence is where you can hear your own thoughts again. Third, rest the goal. This does not mean abandoning ambition. It means pausing the chase long enough to check direction. Sometimes you are tired not because you work too much, but because you are working against yourself. You are chasing something that does not fit your values, or you are trying to force results on a timeline that is breaking you. A short pause lets you see that clearly. Here is a practical example. You are about to send a tense email. Your emotions are high, your energy is low. You want to prove a point. If you send it now, you might win the argument, but lose the relationship, the deal, or your reputation. Rule 11 says sleep first. One night. Read it again in the morning. You will write it differently. You will choose words that are firm but not explosive. And the outcome will change because the tone changed. Now add the practice that protects you from emotional decisions. The 24-hour rule. Any decision that comes from anger, fear, or extreme excitement waits 24 hours. Do not commit. Do not sign. Do not post. Do not send the message. You can draft it, but you do not release it. After 24 hours, you check again. If it is still wise, you act. If it was just emotion, you will be grateful you waited. This rule makes you slower in the moment, but faster over time, because it prevents damage you would spend weeks repairing. It prevents regret. It prevents impulsive spending, impulsive quitting, impulsive texting, impulsive conflict. This is the close of Rule 11. Space does not make you slower, it makes you right. Principle 12. Planned patience. Trust timing. Measure progress. Most people do not fail because they are incapable. They fail because they cannot tolerate the middle. The middle is the quiet stretch where you work, but nothing dramatic happens yet. No applause. No instant reward. And if you do not have a framework, your brain starts panicking. It whispers, "This is not working." Then you jump to a new plan, a new goal, a new identity, and you reset your progress to 0. This rule is designed to prevent that. The goal is to eliminate the feeling of, "I can't see progress," because that feeling is what makes people abandon the process right before it starts paying off. Here is the most common mistake. People measure life by daily emotions instead of weekly indicators. One day they feel inspired, so they think they are winning. The next day they feel tired, so they think they are failing. That is not progress. That is mood tracking. If your goals are real, you need a system that is not dependent on mood. Stoicism gives you a clean frame. You cannot control when fruit ripens, but you can control watering the tree every day. That is planned patience. You do your part consistently, and you accept that timing is not fully yours. The trust part is not passive hope. The trust part is refusing to panic when results are delayed, because you understand how growth works. Now make it concrete with a 4-week scoreboard. 4 weeks is long enough to produce meaningful change, but short enough to stay focused. The rules are simple. 1 goal, 1 main metric, 1 repeatable action. 1 goal means you stop spreading yourself thin. Pick the target that matters most right now. More career opportunities, more income, better health, better relationship skills. 1 main metric means you stop guessing. You track the input that actually drives outcomes, not the fantasy outcome, the controllable input. 1 repeatable action means you commit to a daily or near-daily behavior that moves the metric. This makes progress predictable. Here is how it looks for career. Your goal is to increase opportunities. Your metric could be the number of meetings you secure, the number of applications you submit, or the number of portfolio pieces you complete. Your repeatable action might be sending 3 applications a day, or reaching out to 2 people a day, or spending 40 minutes a day finishing 1 strong project. Over 4 weeks, that becomes a body of work. And a body of work attracts opportunity. Here is how it looks for money. Your goal is to increase income. Your metric could be the number of potential customers you contact, the number of offers you send, or the number of follow-ups you do. Your repeatable action might be contacting 5 leads a day, sending 1 offer a day, or following up with 3 people a day. The market rewards volume with quality. Not mindless spam, but consistent outreach with improvement. You do not need magic. You need reps. Now, the key habit that keeps this system honest is the Sunday review. Every Sunday, you look at your numbers. Not with shame, not with self-hate, just data. What did I do this week? What worked? What did not? What can I adjust? The worst thing you can do is punish yourself emotionally, because punishment makes you avoid tracking, and if you avoid tracking, you return to guessing. Stoic progress is clean. You review, you adjust, you repeat. If your metric is low, you do not insult yourself. You change the environment, you change the schedule, you reduce friction, you make the action easier to execute, or you refine the approach. Maybe your outreach message needs improvement. Maybe your offer needs clarity. Maybe your portfolio needs focus. The point is not perfection. The point is measurable progress. This rule also gives you emotional stability, because you stop asking, "Do I feel like it's working?" You start asking, "Did I do the work I committed to?" If you did, you can stay calm, because the process is intact. If you did not, you do not panic. You correct. Planned patience is the mindset of people who win long games. They do not need a miracle every day. They need a process they can measure and trust. That is the close of Rule 12. People who play the long game do not need daily magic. They need measurable progress. Let's bring it home. Manifesting through Stoicism is not a spiritual performance. It is calm, clarity, discipline, and value creation. You do not need to burn yourself out to get what you want. You need a strong inner base, a simple system you can repeat, and decisions that are not polluted by noise, fear, or ego. When you get those things right, life feels less chaotic because you stop fighting what you cannot control and you start mastering what you can. This is the real shift. When you control yourself, the world starts to feel easier, not because it becomes softer, but because you become steadier. Opportunities show up more often because you are present enough to notice them, solid enough to hold them, and consistent enough to build on them. Wealth grows the same way, not in one lucky moment, but through repeated actions that compound. Relationships deepen the same way too, through calm communication, clear boundaries, and the ability to respond instead of react. Now make this practical. Choose 2 rules you will apply for the next 7 days. 2 only, not 12. If you try to do everything, you will do nothing. Pick the 2 that hit your pain point the hardest. Then write 1 small action for each rule every day. Keep it measurable. Keep it honest. At the end of 7 days, do not judge yourself by how you felt. Judge by the data. Did you show up? Did you follow the system? Did you create value? Did you protect your focus? If you did, you are already winning, because you are building the only kind of progress that lasts.